Where to next, family? Welcome to another episode of Travel Chat. In this episode, we are going to cover our port arrival and embarking the Carnival Celebration. Now, for this sailing, the hubby and I flew out of Atlanta to Miami. Now, for all of you who have watched our previous episodes, then you know that I cannot stress enough the importance of making sure that if you are flying into port, to please leave the day before. Especially for us during this sailing, we took a chance flying out during the government shutdown. So we were actually uncertain if our flights were going to be canceled. However, especially during a time like that, always make sure you have a backup plan. We had a backup plan that, hey, if we got to the airport and our flight was gonna be delayed, or if they decided to cancel it, we were going to just drive down to Miami, but at least having that extra day allowed us to be able to make that trip if that was the case. However, our flight was not delayed. We were able to fly out of Atlanta to Miami with no issues at all. And on top of that, I must say the TSA line was not long either. It took us 3 minutes. Also, another thing I have to say is don't forget your travel documents. One of the things that I hear a lot is people, they'll get down to the port and they will forget their passports, or oops, I forgot my birth certificate. Please always check for your documents. And another thing, print your cruise tickets and luggage tags before you go. That's another thing I hear a lot that people forget to do. If anything, before your cruise, and a lot of times if you can set a reminder a week before your cruise, go ahead and do your check-in. Go on the Carnival app, do your check-in. After you finish checking in, you'll be able to print your cruise ticket and also your luggage tag as well. Go ahead, have it ready. Make sure you put it in your purse or your carry-on bag. Make sure it's not in that check bag, all right? Just a little tip and trick whenever you are preparing to take a cruise. All right, so another special thing about this sailing is that we actually decided to stay in Miami Beach. So we flew in the day before, like I mentioned, and that night we actually got a hotel on Miami's beach. Now, what we thought was a great idea to be able to, start the vacation off right, being, to get in a little bit of that Miami Beach sun was going to be a great idea, but it was not. I do not give it a 10, and I do not recommend, okay? And the reason for that is because we didn't realize how expensive it was going to be just to take a Uber ride from the airport to South Beach. Our trip ended up costing us over $70, and that wasn't even including the tip. So that was one of the things that became a bummer with staying in South Beach. Another thing I have to mention about staying in South Beach before a cruise is that when it was the day of us heading to the port, we had to wait 45 minutes, and I want to say was even up to an hour for the Uber to even arrive. Then when the Uber gets there, we then had to sit in traffic. Traffic was horrible. It was only 8 miles to go from our hotel in South Beach, Miami, to the port. 8 miles. However, it took an hour for us to get there. So the reason for the traffic was the fact that it was Sunday And for anyone that know or who ever sailed out on a Sunday, Sunday is the busiest day for ports. That is usually a time where most of all the ships are there and they are trying to load thousands and thousands of people on those individual trips. So everybody is trying to get to the port all at the same time. However, two, the main issue is that they are still doing construction at the port. And the type of construction, I mean, we're talking you have to stay in a certain lane. Then once you get down, you have to figure out, well, they actually have you make like a crazy U-turn just to get to your port destination. So it was very confusing. Even our Uber driver, at one point, he thought he was going the wrong way and thought he was going to have to be rerouted back to the interstate. However, thank goodness we were able to finally get to the port drop-off where they were able to take our luggage. But for that 8-mile trip, it was $101. I know, you heard me right. $101 to go 8 miles. And that wasn't even including the tip. So we definitely took note of that experience. And from here on out, I am pretty sure we are going to be staying downtown Miami moving forward. So you all, hey, if that's a chance you want to take and you want to stay down at Miami Beach, go ahead. But please take heed to what we experience in staying in South Miami Beach and trying to head to the port the next day. So after we were able to drop off our luggage, we then were able to head on in and go through security. Now, one thing I have to mention, during this sailing, security was tight. And what I mean by that, of all the past times that we've cruised, this was my first time going through the process where we had to line up and allow the dog to come and sniff all of our carry-on items. So that was definitely a new experience for me. I know I've seen in previous videos from other YouTubers that is just something that is normally done. However, they were definitely strict going through security this go around for us. Also too, it was kind of funny because when I was going through security, I actually got pulled to the side when my bag was going through the scanner because of my electric fan. They actually had me to pull out my electric fan because they thought it was a Bluetooth speaker. And so they stated that, hey, that is one of the things that they are making sure are not making their way to the ship. And just so you all know, please, if you are thinking about bringing a Bluetooth speaker, don't bring it. They will take it. They will make you take it out your bag. And even if you try to get a little fancy and try to get something where you're like, ooh, they won't figure it out that it's a Bluetooth speaker. They even had told me that they had someone that had a Bluetooth speaker in the shape of a rubber duck. However, they said that they can actually see through all of your items. And when they saw the wiring, of course, they end up taking the Bluetooth speaker. So please take note. Do not bring your Bluetooth speaker on board. Also too, they had to stop my husband when he was coming through with his bags. He actually had all of his camera equipment in his book bag, and they had to actually go through all of that. So I was kind of shocked. This was our first time where we kind of got the shakedown, I guess you could say, where they were very careful in what was going on the ship. So you all definitely be careful with that. Another thing I do want to speak on, because I do get a couple of questions about as far as carry-on bag, should we bring a carry-on bag if we already are planning on doing a check bag? I would highly recommend you always prepare for a carry-on bag. And the reason for that, because one of the things that a lot of people don't understand you are actually able to carry on a 12-pack of canned drink per person. And so for me and my husband, one of the things, we're not real big soda drinkers. However, Smart Water came out with canned water. So we bring on for our 12-pack per person, we actually do the canned water, which has been great having on the ship. You are also able to bring on board a bottle of wine per guest. Now that has to be a 750 milliliter bottle. Please, y'all, do not try to go in there with your big bottles of wine. However, be careful too with the type of wine that you do bring on. I do know there are some that they are kind of looking out for. When you do come through with your bottle of wine, they do check that bottle of wine, just so you know. So I think ones that are kind of off the list are kind of like the margarita type of wine, you know, those type of drinks that sits over there in the wine area. So just make sure that it's a real bottle of wine that you all are bringing on board. You are also able to carry on your favorite snacks. So if you are like my husband and you have to have some nights the peanut M&Ms, you can actually pack those type of things. Pack some chips, some things that you feel like, you know what, no matter where I go, I gotta have my favorite snacks because late at night, this is just my go-to. You can actually bring those on board too. Also, like 5-hour energy drinks, or if you have powdered protein shakes or those type of things, you can bring those on as well. I know I had to have my 5-hour energy drinks for each day of the cruise because I gotta have my caffeine. However, for anyone else, the only thing that you just have to be careful with is just make sure that all your snacks or anything that you do bring is sealed in its original packaging. Okay, so keep that in mind. Also too, everything that I just mentioned, the pack of canned sodas, the wine, your snacks, make sure you pack those in your carry-on bags. If they are found in your check-in bags, they will throw those items away. All right, so if you are looking to bring your drinks and your snacks, once again, please make sure you have them with you as a carry-on bag. All right, just a little tool tip for you. After we were able to get through the check-in process, however, with all of our carry-on items and snacks and all of that good stuff, the next stop was the document check-in. This is where they are going to be checking your passport, or if you don't have a passport, they'll be checking your ID and birth certificate. So make sure, like I said, I cannot stress enough, you have those items with you. Make sure they are not in your check bag, because once they take your bags, when you get there, it's going to be hard for you to try to hunt down your luggage to pull out your documents. And you have to have those documents before they let you board. So definitely keep that in mind. But after they check your passport and make sure that your ID or birth certificate, you are who you are, they then will take a picture of you. So make sure you are picture ready, because that's going to be the picture that pops up anytime they scan your card when you are going to the other ports. But also, after you complete as far as your document check, they also have a guest service area before you load the ship. So if there are things that you want to go ahead and take care of, for instance, a lot of times, maybe if you want to switch out the credit card that is connected to your sail card, that is the best time to do it, because usually that line is not as long as the line that's going to be on the ship. So definitely you can go to guest service, or maybe even if you forgot to set up a credit card for your sail away card, that is the best time to do it. Head over to guest service before you hop on the ship. But after that, once you get all of that out the way, you are then able to make your way on the ship. And that is what we did. We made our way on the ship, and for us, we always take a moment and take in the views. On the Carnival Celebration, where we came in onto the ship was right there at the center stage. So it was a little moment of beauty and awe that you just kind of took in, but it was also a reminder that your vacation truly started. And so definitely just embrace and take in that moment once you do get on the ship. Now from there, one thing we always do, I don't know if y'all noticed yet, but the first thing we do is we go and find our muster station. All right. That is one thing we always want to make sure we get checked off our list. We do not want to be the reason why the ship is delayed from sailing off because we did not complete our muster station drill. So that was the first thing we did. I can say one of the things that you may want to do, because usually the first set of elevators that you get to once you board the ship is usually always going to be the most crowded elevator. I would always recommend, if you can make your way further down the ship or maybe further up the ship to find another set of elevators, that is going to be your go-to. Another thing I want to make mention, if you are going to be going on the Celebration, prepare yourself for the wait for an elevator, okay? I must say, my past sailings being on like the Icon, especially Royal Caribbean, all of their new ships, they have spoiled me. Because on those ships, you are able to select the floor you want to go to, and then they will tell you which elevator you will need to stand at, because it's going to make sure it takes you directly to that floor. However, on the Carnival Celebration, you hit that button and you just wait and you just hope one of the elevators end up making, pinging and letting you know that it's going either up or down, whichever way you're trying to go to. But it's going to be you and probably 20, 30 other people that are going to be trying to make their way in that same direction as well. So one of the things I can say, the elevators were always packed. So be prepared for that. Definitely pack your patience, especially on day one, because that is the busiest time. Everyone is just trying to get to where they're trying to go. And the way those elevators are set, you're going to be waiting for a while and you are going to be packed into an elevator once one comes for you. All right. Once we found our muster station, it was an easy process from there. They were able to check our names off, and this presentation, they didn't even go through the steps on how to put your life jacket on. It was pretty much them saying, hey, this is where we'll meet if there is an emergency. And so I was like, all right, we got it. We'll make sure we make our way to the casino if anything happens. And that was it. All right. Well, after that muster station, usually by that time, because we got on the Carnival Celebration so late, it was almost time for the rooms to be available. Once they became available, which is usually about 1 o'clock, 1:30, we made our way to our room. Now for this sailing, we end up deciding to go with an interior room. Now, it all depends. For us in past sailings, we've done balconies, we've done suites, and we also do interior rooms, but it all depends as far as which one we decide to do. Now for the Celebration, we knew that we were going to be out of our room a lot because we knew it was a lot for us to explore, a lot of shows we were going to try to capture. And so because of that, since we weren't going to be in our room very much, we were like, hey, we'll save money just doing an interior cabin. Now, on sailings where it was not a whole lot of activities or things to do. And even the number of days that we are on the sailing also helps determine if we're going to do a balcony or interior room. But especially if it's not going to be a lot of stuff as far as for us to kind of explore, or if we're doing that ship for a second go round and there were just a couple of things that we just wanted to kind of do again, those are the times that we'll go ahead and book a balcony room. So it just kind of all depends what you want in terms of, and also what you're willing to pay as well. So if you know, like if you're going to be like us and out of the room a lot, and you're pretty much just going to be going there to lay your head to sleep, then definitely go the interior room route. One of the things I can say whenever we do get a interior room, and I'm pretty sure you all have heard this probably before in past videos, but I must say it's true. You get the best sleep. I don't know. It's just something about, as far as everything just being dark, it's quiet. It's just something that I enjoy. But then also too, I, like when I'm going to be in the room a lot and I know I'm going to be, chilling a lot, I like a balcony as well. In past sailings, there are plenty of times when we did get a balcony room, you would find me on the balcony taking a nap. Okay, because that was the best nap ever. So definitely think about that. It's definitely up to you as far as what you decide. But for me, it's never a bad decision to choose between an interior room or a balcony room. But our interior room, it was great. The layout was great for us. It allowed for a lot of room where we were able to even have enough space for storage. We were able to hang up all of our clothes. They had multiple drawers for you to be able to place all of your items. And then even the bathroom. The bathroom, as you all know, cruise ships' bathrooms are small, but it was spacious enough to give you exactly what you needed. The shower was great. It did not have that shower curtain to it, so that's always a plus for me. The water pressure was great. Definitely had the hot water that I need whenever I'm taking my showers, so I can say our room was perfect. All right, travel family. Well, that's all I have for you today. Until next time, keep traveling, keep chatting, and thank you for watching Travel Chat.